Hello, welcome, and today we'll be looking at functional groups under organic chemistry. Now, you have to understand this. What are functional groups? They are simply identities. Like, what do you see? How do you know that this is something? How do you know that this falls under this? For instance, if you see a Coca-Cola bottle or you see a bottle of Coca-Cola, you know what that is a Coca-Cola bottle because of the color, because of the symbol, because of the branding. Exactly. So that's how it is here. So functional group is defined as an atom, a radical, or a bond common to a homologous series, which determines the main chemical properties of the series. All right? Please take note of that and make sure you write this down. And every functional group we'll be looking at here, make sure you write it down. Now, the first one is alkanes. The first one is what? Alkanes. Now, if you look very well, alkanes, they have a general formula and they have functional group. All right. So we're not just going to look at functional group. We're going to look at the name, the general formula, and the functional group itself. So alkanes have a general formula of CnH2n plus 2, and then a functional group of this. All right. A functional group of this. You can see that the functional group, you can see single bond. All right. So if you want to recognize alkane, you know when you see single bond, you know that, oh yes, this is an alkane group. All right. And if you notice, the suffix here is "ane". All right. Ane, alk, then "ane". All right. So the suffix here for this group is "ane". Now let's look at the next one. The next one is what? Alkenes. Now look at alkenes. Alkenes, the general formula is CnH2n. And if you look at very closely, you see that the functional group is double bond. So a good way of recognizing the alkenes family, which has a suffix of "ine", if you notice very well, is what? With the double bond. All right. So alkenes have a general formula of CnH2n and with a double bond. Now let's look at alkynes. Alkynes, they have a suffix of "-ine". All right, alkynes. Now the general formula is CnH2n minus 2 with a functional group consisting of triple bond. Triple bond. So this is a very good way to identify alkynes. So triple bond. Now let's talk about alkanols. Now alkanols, we also call them alcohols. All right, they're the alcohol family. We have the alcohol family. Now their general formula, and if you check it very well, they have a suffix of "all". All right, alkanol, all. All right, take note of that. Now the general formula is CnH2n plus 1 OH. CnH2n plus 1 OH. Now, their functional group is OH, which is the hydroxyl group. So a very good way of knowing that, oh, this falls under the alkanol family is when you see a OH, which is an hydroxyl group, just know that, oh, this is an alkanol. All right, this falls under the alkanol family. All right, now let's look at the next one. The next one is halogenoalkanes, or you can also call them alkyl halides. All right, halogenoalkanes, or you can also call them what? Alkyl halides. Now, these ones are the one that carries the halogens. All right, they always consist of substituents containing halogens. All right, they always have substituents which are halogens. Now, the general formula is CnH2n plus 1. Now, this X is representing halogens. Now, their functional group here is this X, which are halogens. And halogens, examples of halogens, you have chlorine, you have bromine represented with Br, you have chlorine represented with Cl, you have bromine represented with Br, you have iodine represented with I, we also have iodide, and then this is fluorine, F. All right, so their general formula is CnH2n plus 1 attached with halogens. All right, so they have substitutes of halogens by their general formula, which is CnH2n plus 1. Now let's look at the next one. The next one is alkoxyl alkanes. Alkoxyl alkanes or ethers. All right, alkoxyl alkanes or ethers. All right. So they have a general formula of CnH2nO, CnH2n plus 1. All right. CnH2nO, CnH2n plus 1. And a very good way of understanding that, oh, this falls under the alkoxy alkanes or ether family is seeing this functional group O. All right. So this is their functional group. And then we have amino alkanes. Now the amino alkanes have a general formula of CnH2n plus 1 NH2. All right. So you can see that their functional group is what? NH2. All right. NH2. Take note of that. Now let's talk about alkanones. Alkanones, the general formula is CnH2n plus 1. We have CO CnH2n plus 1. So when you see this, this is their general formula. Then when you now see this, all right, when you see an organic compound, the structure of an organic compound having something like this, you know that they fall under the alkanones, all right, and their general formula is CnH2n plus 1, CO CnH2n plus 1. Now let's look at more functional groups. Now the next one we're going to look at is alkanals, which are also called aldehydes, all right. Now their general formula is CnH2n plus 1 CHO, and their functional group is this. So when you see this, and you see carbon, and you see a double bond here with oxygen, and then you see a single bond here with hydrogen, you know that this belongs to the alkanal groups or the aldehydes. All right. Now the next one is alkanoic acid. Alkanoic acid. Now their general formula is CnH2n plus 1 COOH, and their functional group, what you can use to easily identify them is what? When you see carbon and you see a double bond with oxygen, and you see a single bond with oxygen and then with hydrogen, you know that, oh, this belongs to the alkanoic acid family. All right, the alkanoic family. Now the next one is alkanoids or esters. We call them alkanoids, or you can also call them esters. Now the general formula is CnH2n plus 1 COOCnH2n plus 1, and their functional group is what? You can see carbon, you can see a double bond here O, and then you can see this here O. So this is the functional group. This is a functional group of alkanoids or esters. Now the next one is cyanoalkanes, which can also be called cyanides. All right, so persons call them cyanides, but they are also called cyanoalkanes, or like I said, cyanides. Now the general formula is CnH2n plus 1 Cn, and then you can see that the functional group is this carbon with a triple bond then with nitrogen. All right, so this is a family of cyanoalkanes. This is their general formula, and this is their functional group. Now the last one is alkylamide. All right, alkylamide. All right, alkylamide, which is CnH2n plus 1 CONH2, and their functional group is C. When you see carbon, a double bond with oxygen, and NH2 here, you know that, oh, this is what? Alkylamide. This belongs to the alkylamide family. So these are all for functional group that we'll be looking at today. Now in our next video, we're going to look at naming organic compounds. We're also going to look at homologous series. So make sure you like this video, share this video, and hit the subscribe button, so when I upload more videos like this, you get notified.